talk how I was talking?
Yeah, you just talk over me.
Mama wolf, be the mama wolf, motherfucker. Called you to the house when you came here. Fear the mama wolf, house fear the mama wolf and the cobra. Don't break. Not just for that fat sack of cash. Show your family, show fucking America how strong girls are. Like seriously, show that shit. None of us that are artists. Kill him with kindness. None of us have artists. We're gonna draw rainbows and fucking hearts.
All right, question one, Lexi. If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations.
Ask to repeat the question.
Do you agree, disagree, strongly agree, or strongly disagree?
Always ask to repeat the question. It's always okay, isn't it? Is that okay? Hard to ask. Always ask.
Say it again.
Just a little slower.
If economic globalization is inevitable, it should primarily serve humanity rather than the interests of transnational corporations.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree. It serves the people, not the corporations.
Mm-hmm.
Would you strongly agree, or would you just agree?
Strongly agree.
Strongly.
And not only is it adding to like...
Actually, don't coach her on the answers.
Oh, sorry.
Agree or strongly agree?
I guess strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Okay. I'd always support my country, whether it was right or wrong.
Fuck, that's hard. But yes, USA.
No, because
Alex B, do not coach her.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
I would say I disagree.
Strongly or regular?
Just regular, because I mean, look how corrupt things got now.
Okay. No one chooses their country of birth, so it's foolish to be proud of it.
No one chooses their country of birth.
Like
False. No, I just strongly disagree.
You strongly disagree?
Yeah.
Okay. Our race has many superior qualities compared with other races.
Strongly disagree.
You strongly disagree?
Our race? Like...
Yeah. The white race.
Yeah, strongly disagree.
You strongly disagree with that?
We are not superior, no.
Okay. Would you say we're inferior?
I don't... No, it's not that. I don't think any race... They all have different attributes and qualities that make everything unique.
Well, would you agree that other races have many superior qualities compared with other races?
I don't see race as a part to judge as superior.
Okay. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
They're good at these.
Alex B, why don't you take 5? We'll let you guys continue the
I'm sorry. Yeah.
pep talk. No, don't be sorry.
Cool, man.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with that.
You would agree.
I think so.
Okay. Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
Can you just repeat that? I'm sorry.
Military action that defies international law is sometimes justified.
If it's for the greater good of people, I agree.
You would say agree, just regular?
Yeah, just regular.
Okay. There is now a worrying fusion of information and entertainment. Oh, fuck.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
There is now a worrisome fusion of information and...
Entertainment.
I strongly agree.
Okay. People are ultimately divided more by class than nationality.
I would unfortunately disagree with that.
So it's nationality that is a stronger divider?
As of right now, I feel like that's what everyone still feels and believes.
So you would disagree or strongly disagree?
I would just disagree.
Okay. Controlling inflation is more important than controlling unemployment.
agree. Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Because, and by the way, you can feel free to ask for clarification if you need it.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Things. You got that last one?
Yeah, I understood the last one for sure.
Okay. Because corporations cannot be trusted to voluntarily protect the environment, they require regulation.
Strongly agree.
For each according to his ability, to each according to his need, is a fundamentally good idea.
One more time.
From each according to his ability, to each according to his need. So the idea there is that what society should demand of people is whatever they can provide. That's the meaning of from each according to his ability.
Okay.
So if you can work 12 hours a day versus somebody who can only work 6 hours a day, it's whatever people are able to provide. To each according to his need. That's the idea that if you need housing, shelter, you need food, medicine, that should be provided to you.
I would say agree. I agree. If you put the effort in to contribute, then the needs of those should be met. I mean, it's the ones that don't contribute. So, I agree, I believe.
Okay. The freer the market, the freer the people.
Market meaning?
So, free market meaning the freest market, you would, it's basically talking about protection for workers and taxation and stuff, like a hypothetical super free market. You'd have like no taxes. You wouldn't have the government wouldn't come in to support unionization of workers, that type of thing. It's like a unbridled or unrestricted capitalism is what a truly free market would be, and you would also do away with government subsidies. So the government paying farmers, for example, to make certain crops cheaper, to make certain foods cheaper, to make certain things like gasoline cheaper. You would do away with stuff like that. It's just the idea of unrestricted commerce without government intervention.
So meaning so the freer the market with those less restrictions mean people have a freer ability?
So it's asking if you had unbridled capitalism, if you had totally unrestricted, or you move in that direction, do the people, the citizens, the individuals, do they experience more or less freedom as you free businesses to do whatever they want?
Really don't know much about this part stuff. Like in my black and white head, it says, yeah, but I feel like they would have a different means at some point.
Well, the argument against it would be that if you have totally free markets, you would do away with stuff like minimum wage, and some people would argue that would create conditions where workers can be exploited. I mean, if you were going to take this all the way, the freer the market, the freer the people, you would probably argue for open borders so that corporations can hire people. Like you'd have labor, corporations would be free to manufacture stuff overseas in Mexico or China or wherever it's the cheapest, and they'd also be free to bring that labor in.
So I think I disagree with that, because then the people are going to suffer, meaning if they're suffering, they're not free.
Okay, so you would disagree?
I believe so.
Yeah.
That's how my head says it. I would disagree.
All right, next question. It's a sad reflection on our society that something as basic as drinking water is now a bottled, branded consumer product.
So it's sad. It's sad that water, basically
It's sad that you can buy bottled water. That's the idea behind that question is water, because it's so essential to life, it should be provided by the government. There should be no need to go buy a commodified branded water bottle.
Oh wow, that's deep.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, but also, I mean, I would just. There's some countries that don't even have water, so when we get them water. It's sad that it's branded.
Like, it's sad that you can't just go fill up a bottle at the tap.
Mm-hmm.
You go buy bottles of water.
Yeah.
The person who would agree with this question, they would take umbrage with the commodification of something.
How I answer, like, I do think it is sad that it's branded and something that's basic for human life, like water that is all around us, you know, is being, you know, some people should, I mean, everyone should have access to appropriate drinking water. So what was it? Like, so yeah, like, I do agree.
You would agree?
Is that it? Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's what I meant, yeah.
Strongly or irregular?
Just regular. I'm not a big strong, or, because I feel like I'm not well educated in these aspects, so I would just agree.
Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold.
I disagree.
You disagree. Strongly or regular?
Yo! Sorry, is Lexi in there?
She is.
Can I talk to her?
Yeah, come in.
Hi, I heard you were upset. I just wanted to, like, make sure you were okay. Also, like, just get your thoughts about, like, because they just burned, like, our campaign thing, so I just want to, like, see.
What do you mean burn?
They burned your poster?
They just did that. No, not your, like, Smack did. So I just want to see, like, what is wrong.
Why?
What did she do?
She just burned it because she said that, like, she feels bad. And I'm like, it wasn't even that mean. Like, it was just a funny joke that you make it by yourself. So I was seeing, like, what's appropriate.
I guess when they said make signs, it didn't cross my mind to smear or say anything bad about Symbol. I was literally trying to think of, like, a catchy thing, like Prez, Lexi, and do that. So when I heard that they were gonna probably pull my worst attributes out, I just didn't want to see that plastered for everyone to see, because I do that to myself all the time. So I broke down because I think everyone's their worst critic, and then to have a bunch of people point them out for just even this, like, so it really, like, if he really wants it that bad to pull them out for me, then he can have it. That's why what y'all
That's not what it was. It was we were told it was a smear campaign. And so, like, and actually Symbol was the one that was like, I don't think we should say anything bad about her. Like, literally, that's the first thing he said. And we all were, like, thinking of things that weren't super, like, mean to, like, try to hurt you. That were more, like, funny. And so, like, I just wanted to make sure, like, you were okay. And, like, if everyone's saying, like, we're just not gonna do it, but, like, we also don't know if that's, like, we're gonna get in trouble for not doing it.
I get that. We weren't told that. We were just told to do signs. So maybe just, it is what it is. I was not personally ready for that type of, it's because, like, that would have never crossed my mind when we would make signs. So I didn't know what it could be, because I know people can be pretty cutthroat, and, like, the worst just, like, came to my mind of what everyone could say about me.
That makes sense.
All right, we gotta get back to this.
Okay, sorry.
Thanks, Mizzy.
So then did you want us to, like, is there anything you
If
don't
you-
off limits, or, like?
Just honestly, I think you guys, I appreciate the compassion, and, it is what it is, and I'm gonna understand. I just needed to get my head a little better.
So is there anything that, like, is off
My
limits?
son.
Of course.
That's it. Basically, I can try to take everything else, but just my son.
All right, I love you.
Thank you.
And they gave you some really sweet
I
signs.
see those. Thank you.
Land shouldn't be a commodity to be bought and sold. You disagree?
You disagree.
It is regrettable that many personal fortunes are made by people who simply manipulate money and contribute nothing to society.
I would strongly agree with that.
Protectionism is sometimes necessary in trade. And protectionism,
I agree. I strongly agree.
you would strongly agree. The only social responsibility of a company should be to deliver a profit to its shareholders.
Just strongly disagree.
The rich are too highly taxed.
I strongly disagree.
Those with the ability to pay should have access to higher standards of medical care.
Strongly disagree.
Governments should penalize businesses that mislead the public.
I strongly agree.
A genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability of predator multinationals to create monopolies.
Can you break it down for me?
So, genuine free market requires. So if there were no rules for businesses, then some people argue that, and in actual fact this happens, monopolies form. And a monopoly is when a company, probably the best example of it is Google. Google has a monopoly on search, and it's pretty much impossible to start a business to compete with Google, specifically on their web search thing right now.
Okay.
And the restrictions on the ability of predator. So I guess what they're saying.
Am I allowed to ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
Does it have to, can we just write something nice about symbol? Does it have to be?
Sure.
Okay, we wrote fake boobs, fake promises. Is that,
Just do what you have to do.
okay, I burned it. So, we're gonna go with it.
I guess there's two senses of the word free. If it's free, if there's no restrictions, then what would happen hypothetically is you would have businesses like Google with search, or in the past I think AT&T with phone service.
Oh my God.
Nah, you gotta go. If you de-restricted businesses, you would create conditions where the businesses become so powerful that the market's no longer free, because you can't compete with, once a company reaches a certain size and dominance over a product,
Right.
like Google, AT&T, whatever, then you can't compete with them anymore, so it's no longer free. So if you think that it's basically, do you think that monopolies should be restricted?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree. You should be.
Genuine free market requires restrictions on the ability. Abortion, when the woman's life is not threatened, should always be illegal.
I disagree.
All authority should be questioned.
I agree.
An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
I agree.
Taxpayers should not be expected to prop up any theaters or museums that cannot survive on a commercial basis.
I'd say disagree.
Schools should not make classroom attendance compulsory.
Compulsory, like,
Should kids be allowed to skip school?
I would just, they shouldn't, so I disagree.
They should be allowed?
I feel like they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. Okay,
Yeah.
so schools should not make classroom attendance. So you would disagree or strongly disagree?
Just disagree.
All people have their rights, but it is better for all of us that different sorts of people should keep to their own kind.
I disagree.
Just regular?
Yeah.
Good parents sometimes have to spank their children.
I agree.
You agree?
I do.
Okay. Just so you know, that will lower your child's IQ.
Yeah.
That's a studied thing. It makes children, it makes them stupider. It's natural for children to keep some secrets from their parents.
I strongly agree.
Possessing marijuana for personal use should not be a criminal offense.
To not for medical? I mean, I don't, just holding it for,
Just recreational weed smoking.
oh, I agree, I don't care, it's a natural substance, as long as it's natural. So I agree.
The prime function of schooling should be to equip the future generation to find jobs.
Oh, strongly disagree.
It should probably be to teach these kids that they can do whatever they want and be whatever,
Yeah,
follow their dreams, be anything.
yep. Or how to do basic human things.
That too.
Cook.
But job training, totally unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
People with serious inheritable disabilities should not be allowed to reproduce.
I would say disagree. Everybody should have an equal right. Just because they have a disability, they shouldn't be.
Strongly or
Just
regular?
regular.
Okay. The most important thing for children to learn is to accept discipline.
Ew, strongly disagree.
When you leave, just make sure you look up studies on spanking and what that does. There are no savage and civilized people. There are only different cultures.
Oh, strongly disagree. I see it every day.
Well, we're talking about groups though, so it's got sort of a racial undertone to it.
Oh, I thought you meant people.
Some not individuals.
Oh.
It's not like the drunk guy who's a savage. It's like, are there people from different countries that are, all of them are savages. There are no savage and civilized peoples with an S. So
Oh.
peoples like groups of people.
Okay.
There are only different cultures.
So there's only different cultures. Wait, what then? I'm sorry.
Well, it comes down to this. I mean, if there's a culture, if there's a group of people who are cannibals and eat
Right.
monkey brains and whatnot, is it fair to call them savage, or would you not?
No, I mean, there is like a cannibal tribe I know, and that's just like,
Sort of their thing.
yeah, and that's where that's what they do because that's all probably, I don't know.
And
if
it's
that's
their
all they
different
know.
culture. I mean,
Yeah, and I will never like say someone's culture savage.
Right.
So I guess I don't agree with that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, just because my moral beliefs and opinions.
Strong or regular?
I guess regular. Just disagree.
Gotcha. Those who are able to work and refuse the opportunity should not expect society's support.
I agree.
When you are troubled, it's better not to think about it, but to keep busy with more cheerful things.
Disagree.
First-generation immigrants can never be fully integrated with their new country.
I disagree with that.
It's actually they do, commonly.
Integrate?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all the time. Right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm so used to not seeing color and ethnicity.
Same, yeah.
It's so hard to answer questions when I don't see
I
that.
know. It's weird asking them. I feel like I'm accusing you asking them. I don't get most of these. I think that it's pretty crazy. What's good for the most successful corporations is always ultimately good for all of us.
False. Disagree. I'm sorry, these aren't true and false.
I got you. No broadcasting institution, however independent its content, should receive public funding.
Like the news?
Well, should the government, NPR is government funded? Should the government fund news type stuff?
I mean, oh God, I guess I would slightly agree only because if everyone in like, your cities use it, but it's so skewed that, I don't want them to, but I don't know how else we would, unless, I don't know how the news works, if it's what's private and what's not, I really don't, this is knowing this part of things, but in order for people to know what's going on, I guess, have a sense, it's, I guess, our society's responsibility to give them some avenue. I don't,
So you think it would be okay for the government to fund?
No, wait, now that I think about it, the government can say anything they want. So let's just say disagree.
Okay.
Because I don't trust a lot of the government.
Got it. Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed in the name of counterterrorism.
Civil liberties?
Yeah. Like you're being spied on online, for example.
Oh, for sure.
Your data
I
being
strongly
collected.
agree with that.
You would strongly agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's worth a few terrorist attacks to have unspied on phones, in your opinion, if you trade it off that way?
No, like, are you saying that, do I think our phones are being spied on by other countries?
No, by our own country.
Oh, I think our country does that to us too.
They do.
Okay.
But I'm saying their rationale for doing it is to prevent terrorism.
Okay.
Do you think if we were no longer spied on, but there were a few more terrorist attacks every year, is that trade-off worth it?
I don't think any lives lost is worth it.
So you would increase.
I don't know. That's so hard.
But I mean, that's why it's a tricky question. If the government collecting your data and your text messages and your emails,
Right.
etc., if that leads to preventing the next 9/11,
Right.
is that trade-off worth it? Is it worth it to save those lives and give up a little bit of your privacy?
Oh, man. For me personally, the right to privacy is very, very huge, but having people that, have been affected by terrorist attacks, and there was something that I feel like anyone could do, they would have agreed. Yes, they would have given up that right at that time. That's hard as hell.
I mean, you don't have privacy. Like everything on your phone isn't going to a data center and it's going to be there till the end of time.
Right.
So you already live without privacy. So why does it matter if the government spies on you a little more in order to save 1,000 people?
Right. I mean, yeah, I feel like so many people there's, always crazy about the government knowing, but no, that's what I'm saying, like, if there's a way to save the lives by a sacrifice, some type of sacrifice, I mean, people do it all the time, so, with physical.
You give up liberty for security in that sense.
Kinda, yeah.
You would agree?
I guess agree, yeah.
Okay.
These are hard.
Our civil liberties are being excessively curbed, so I will just make you change your answer there. Okay. A significant advantage of a one-party state is that it avoids all the arguments that delay progress in a democratic political system.
I would disagree.
Got it. All right. Although the electronic age makes official surveillance easier, only wrongdoers need be worried.
I disagree.
The death penalty should be an option for the most serious crimes.
I agree. Strongly agree.
In a civilized society, one must always have people above to be obeyed and people below to be commanded.
Unfortunately, that's the way I feel like society works. I just... Neutral. There's no neutral.
Well, if we were all sort of universally the same class, if there were no class hierarchy, would that be better? No rich, no poor, just the sort of universal.
I mean, in my head, it says it would, because then there would be no reason for a lot of things that occur, like sneakiness, treason, you know, theft, all of the crazy stuff that goes on between each of the classes. And then there's no way to like pin against, you know, the judge, the bullying and things like that. I just, you know, I always want people to be viewed as the same. Like, doesn't matter if you're the rich or the poor is poor. For me, I don't care what your clothes are or the brand. So like, that's why it's hard for me, because I don't ever judge people a lot of the time for that.
Well, I mean, you are a good person, obviously, but society is so highly stratified. You've got the ultra-rich,
Yeah.
you have the poorest of the poor. Would it be better if everybody had a set of clothing, they were able to rent the use of an Uber-like car, they lived in a city where they're within 15 minutes walking distance of the hospital, the grocery store, everybody sort of lives in a room, like a pod almost, that type of thing. And you, I guess for food, you would eat something that's kind of universally the same, but it's just, there's no more strife between the upper and the lower.
Like, I feel like that takes away everyone's personality too and their character.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So you would, I'll just put you in agree.
Yeah, I guess.
You agree with the stratified. Okay, here's the next one. Abstract art that doesn't represent anything shouldn't be considered art at all.
False. I disagree with that.
Okay. In criminal justice, punishment should be more important than rehabilitation.
I strongly disagree with that.
Okay. It is a waste of time to try to rehabilitate some criminals.
I strongly disagree.
So everybody can be rehabilitated.
Not everyone, but everyone gets worth a shot.
Well, then, if you're saying not everyone, then you would actually agree with that.
What's the question?
Are there some people where they're so bad that it's a waste of time to try to?
Oh yeah, like there's some people there's no way of getting through.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. I'm sorry.
The business person and the manufacturer are more important than the writer and the artist.
Oh, I disagree with that.
Would you strongly disagree?
I just disagree.
Yeah.
Team effort.
Yeah. Mothers may have careers, but their first duty is to be homemakers.
I don't think it's a duty. I think it's a natural instinct. And some women don't ever have that maternal homemaking part of them. I really don't. So.
Well, it's mothers.
Mothers.
So it's
mothers.
women that
We already
have children.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. We are to make our home for our children.
Okay. Almost all politicians promise economic growth, but we should heed the warnings of climate science that growth is detrimental to our efforts to curb global warming. So is it possible that economic growth, the creation of new factories, jobs, products, etc., is actually a bad thing because it leads to global warming?
I agree with that.
So you would agree with the...
I feel like we have so many factories and abandoned things that could be, like, instead of taking more land and making, like, figure out how to fix what we have.
Reuse the old factories?
Yeah, there's ways to rehabilitate old things, and instead of taking more land and you know, just forests and all the things that we just consume because it's there and we don't have any.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know.
Well, a lot of the time it's easier to sort of restore these 200-year-old buildings than to build something brand new.
Yeah, that's how I feel like I'm very black and white and I have simple answers, but for me, I'm like, it makes no sense to go buy a whole freaking plot of land to build this big ass factory when there's all these abandoned areas that have some type of structures where it's gonna take some TLC.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
I
And
agree
then
with that
if
too.
we're already updated in the time, so you're telling me you can't find a way?
For sure. Making peace with the establishment is an important aspect of maturity.
I agree with that. Strongly agree with that.
Okay. Astrology accurately explains many things.
I agree with that.
Oh yeah. Strongly?
Yeah.
Yeah. You cannot be moral without being religious.
I would say disagree. I think everyone's religion, whatever they believe in, it varies. So
Morality is pretty relative anyway. Charity is better than Social Security as a means of helping the genuinely disadvantaged.
charity.
So you know the government welfare programs?
Uh-huh.
It's asking what's more effective, those types of government programs or charity?
Oh, charity.
Charity?
Yeah, they care about the people.
Strongly or regular?
Just, I guess regular. Yeah.
Some people are naturally unlucky.
I strongly agree.
It is important that my child's school instills religious values.
I would strongly disagree. They can have a period where they practice what they want, but I don't think someone should force anyone's kid to.
Sex outside marriage is usually immoral.
From the cultures that I know, that is true.
Just you personally, what would you say
Personally,
about that?
I disagree.
Okay. A same-sex couple in a stable, loving relationship should not be excluded from the possibility of child adoption.
They should not. So whatever. I disagree. They should not be
Strongly or regular?
regular. Like they should be allowed to adopt.
Right,
Right.
right.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, strongly.
Strongly.
Yeah. I definitely for sure.
Pornography depicting consenting adults should be legal for the adult population.
I don't know. I guess I agree.
You agree?
Yeah. People do that for a living.
They do, yeah. What, are you going to take their jobs away?
Right.
Come on. Send them back to Israel over there. Okay. What goes on in a private bedroom between consenting adults is no business of the state.
Agree. I do agree.
No one can feel naturally homosexual.
I just strongly disagree.
These days, openness about sex has gone too far.
I agree in some ways for sure.
Cool, cool. All right, would you just go grab anybody else and send them in here?
Okay.
Thank you.